It looks like it's the end of an era for The Bear, following the show's dominance from its first 2 seasons. The Bear Season 4 was released earlier this year, and though the show received mixed reviews for the second time in a row, it's still a major hit that's been renewed for a 5th season. However, the 2025 Emmys signaled a shift for the series. Last year's Emmys saw Hacks take the win for Outstanding Comedy Series, beating The Bear Season 2. However, Jeremy Allen White, Ebon Moss-Bachrach, and Lisa Colin-Zayas took home awards in their respective categories. The series set the record for the most nominated comedy series in a season with 23 nominations, taking home 11 of them. The Bear's 2-year Emmys domination streak ended this year. Jeremy Allen White as Kami Bazzato in The Bear. In 2023 and 2024, The Bear was off to an incredible start, setting huge records at the Emmys and walking away with a ton of wins. The Bear was then completely shut out at the 2025 awards, with the nominations at last night's Emmys going toward the FX show's 3rd season, which premiered in 2024. The Bear Season 3 is widely perceived as the show's worst, with a downtrending 89% score from critics on Rotten Tomatoes and an even more notable 53% score from audiences. The slow pacing and experimental episodes were commonly criticized. Season 4 showed a notable improvement in both categories but was still divisive. At the 2025 Emmys, The Bear was nominated for 13 total awards, though for the first time, it took home 0. Jeremy Allen White secured the Outstanding Lead Actor category for 2 years, but the award went to Seth Rogen for The Studio last night. Likewise, The Studio took home the Outstanding Comedy Series trophy. The show's place at the Emmys has always been criticized, as fans have consistently debated whether the series is actually a comedy. It seems that the various award shows have been more favorable to actual comedy shows this year, with titles like Only Murders in the Building, Hacks, and The Studio finding much more success. The Bear Season 4's divisive reception suggests the 2026 Emmys won't redeem this year's shutout. Brie Larson as Francie Fack in The Bear Season 4. The Bear Season 3 was the show's least successful so far, but Season 4 certainly wasn't its best. The season, which premiered in June 2025, will likely earn nominations at next year's Emmys, but it seems less likely that the show will return to the awards domination it had in previous years. This was also indicated by this year's SAG Awards and the Golden Globes, in which The Bear found itself struggling more than in previous years. Jeremy Allen White won his category at the Golden Globes, but this was the only award for the series. At the SAG Awards, Martin Short stole the acting category, and Only Murders in the Building won for its ensemble. If The Bear Season 3 was shut out from the Emmys, and Season 4's critical reception didn't fare any better, it's difficult to imagine the show returning to its previous awards esteem next year. While Season 4 had its improvements, it was still met with a 68% score from audiences, and it was widely considered a step down from Seasons 1 and 2. Even at the 2025 Creative Arts Emmys, The Bear's numerous celebrity cameos, including the always electric John Bernthal, lost in their respective guest star categories. For a show that was widely praised for being a rare non-adaptation, non-spin-off, purely original series with exceptional quality, this is a disappointing development. The Bear's 2025 Emmys shutout signals it might be time for the show to end with Season 5. Michael talking with Kami in The Bear Season 4 Episode 1. There were already debates about whether The Bear should have ended with Season 4, and if it's stretching out longer than it should. After Seasons 3 and 4 were fairly divisive, Season 5 faces a lot of pressure to recapture the success of the first 2 seasons, returning the series to form. If The Bear's success with critics and awards is over, it could be the right time to bring things to a close. I believe the show still has stories to tell with a 5th season, and I'd like to see the characters reach a more hopeful, consistent place in their lives. Even at the show's lowest points, I still care so much about its characters.